For me, as a choreographer, I always come in with a vision, but I never actually come in with any steps. I'm a choreographer who comes in and I say, okay, today I'm feeling like this, and I just hit an 8 count and I'm like, did you catch that? Okay, that looked cool. Let me see that. And then it ends up being more of a collaborative process because I see what works on the dancers, and then if they're like, I think this would be more comfortable in my body, I'm like, yeah, do that. That also looks great. But I think every choreographer has a different process. I've
Mhm.
also Some of my friends will come in and they'll have their full piece set. Let's go. This is it.
Right.
And you're like, okay, got it. But that's not
Sure.
how I work. So it just depends.
Good evening and welcome to Art After Dark, where you get to learn all about arts and culture in West Texas, and I get to live out my Dick Cavett fantasy. Good evening. My name is Randy Ham. I am fortunate to be the executive director for Odessa Arts, and tonight we are continuing our focus on the Dallas Black Dance Theater Encore, their fifth year performing here in Odessa. Joining me tonight is Sydney Guine. Sydney, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. So this is not your first time here, is
No,
it?
this is my second.
I thought so. You were here last
I
year.
was.
How was your first performance last year? What did you think the first time you came here?
Oh my God, it was great. First of all, every time, well, this is only my second time, but last time we came here,
Y-
we were treated amazing. This facility is beautiful. It's such an honor to perform here, and it was amazing. Oh, and I did the little Instagram takeover for you
Yes, you
guys last
did.
year,
Yes,
so
you did,
I
and
had
that
a
was
great time.
so much fun, and you were phenomenal at it.
Thank you.
Um, so I want to know your origin story, Sydney. How did you get into dance?
Okay. Well, when I was like 2 years old, my mom swore that she saw me pointing my feet in my high chair. So at the age of 3, she put me in ballet and tap classes, and from there, I just kept dancing.
Wow.
So I trained at the Debbie Allen Dance Academy. I'm from Los Angeles, California. And then I went to school at the Alvin Ailey School and I got my degree from Fordham University. And my senior year, I joined Dallas Black Dance Theater Encore, and this is my second season.
This is your second season.
Yeah.
So this is the milestone season. This is 25 years. Tell me a little bit about what it's been like being in the company celebrating such a milestone.
It's been such an honor. Honestly, we've had a really busy season, and everywhere we go, everyone is super excited and so embracing of us. And the fact that I'm here during this milestone is crazy, and next year we're about to hit the 50th season of the main company,
Oh,
so
wow.
it's a lot happening, and it's been a crazy time, but it's super exciting.
I would imagine so. Between 25 and 50, you've had to have some amazing places that you've performed. Is there somewhere that sticks out that you really like that you've been performing over the last 2 years? Good
Honestly, I think this is my favorite place to perform.
answer. Yeah.
Unbiased, but yeah, this is probably my favorite. I'm really happy to be back here again this year.
Well, we're thrilled that you're back here. Uh, so talk a little bit about the dances that you'll perform tomorrow night, and is this the same program you've been performing in other places around the country?
So, we've performed all of these pieces before, but we haven't performed all of them in the same program. So this is kind of a culmination of some of our biggest pieces from the season. So that's exciting.
Oh, wow, that is
Yeah,
exciting. If I remember correctly, this is also the last performance of the
it
season, isn't it?
is. Yeah.
So you're wrapping up your season here
Mhm.
at the beautiful Ector Theater.
We are.
That is really exciting.
Yeah,
I'm sure you're kinda ready for a little break, though.
I am. We've been working hard, very
Yeah.
hard, to prepare for this show, and we just finished some rehearsals for our Dance Africa show, which is in October. So we're all sore, but still very happy to be here.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about Dance Africa. What is that going to be like?
So, Dance Africa is our show and festival that we have every October, hosted by our artistic director, Nicole Ray. It's in Dallas at the Moody Theater, and it brings together um, not only Dallas Black Dance Theater, but it's both companies and the school. And then we also have outside guests performing as well. So,
Uh,
it's a huge, huge performance.
that's exciting. Do you get a lot of opportunity to work both companies together?
We usually do about 2 shows together, so we do Dance Africa, and then we have our Black on Black show, which is where
Yeah.
we get the opportunity to choreograph on each other. And so those are our two main performances each season where both companies get to collaborate together. But this year, Dallas Black Dance Theater Encore was the guest performers at the main company's show in May. So we also had that opportunity, which was super cool.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah.
That is really cool. So Black on Black is where the dancers get to choreograph for each other.
hmm
Uh, what what did you have choreographed for you, or what did you choreograph for somebody?
So this year I did choreograph a piece on five of my colleagues, and it was super cool. And then I was also in two other pieces. So every piece is also very, very different, and you never know what you're gonna get because your friend can just ask you, "Hey, Sydney, you want to be in my piece?" And you're like, "Yeah." I don't know what to expect, but
Right?
you've never seen these people's work, but it's always super, super fun. And you get to see a whole other side of your colleagues that you don't get to see just because we're always getting choreography put on us.
hmm
So it's really interesting to just see how everyone else interprets movement and interprets dance and like uses their creativity.
So when you do that and you have someone when you're choreographing for other dancers,
hmm
uh, is it is it more of a collaborative effort if you have a dancer that comes up and says, "Well, what if I tried this?" and does something new, or do you have it kind of all mapped out and you have a specific vision that is your vision that you want to see on stage?
Um, for me as a choreographer, I always come in with a vision, but I never actually come in with any steps. I'm a choreographer who comes in and I say, "Okay, today I'm feeling like this," and I just hit an 8 count and I'm like, "Did you catch that? Okay, that looked cool. Let me see that." And then it ends up being more of a collaborative process because I see what works on the dancers, and then if they're like, "I think this would be more comfortable in my body," I'm like, "Yeah, do that. That also looks great." But I think every choreographer has a different process. I've
hmm
also some of my friends will come in and they'll have their full piece set. Let's go. This is it.
Right.
And you're like, okay, got it. But that's not
Sure.
how I work. So it just depends.
Well, there are benefits to both because it's nice to be in a collaborative atmosphere,
hmm
but sometimes you just want to be told what to do.
Yes.
just
Yes.
just give me the steps, give me the
yeah.
instructions. I'll do whatever.
hmm
Just don't make me think.
Yeah. That is so true.
Yes. What are you planning on doing during your break before the next season? Do you have any?
Yeah, I am traveling to Europe with one of my best friends from college for a week. We're going to Poland, Berlin, and Croatia, so that's
Oh,
exciting.
wow.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go home, and spend time with my family for a few weeks, so
That's exciting.
yeah.
Is it your first time in Europe?
No. My family likes to travel a lot, so they really instilled that in me. This is my first time without my parents, though,
Oh,
so it's
wow.
like my first big girl trip.
Right.
Yeah.
Where has been your favorite place to travel?
It's so hard. I think I'm gonna have to say it's between Italy and Barbados.
Yeah, I love Italy,
Yeah.
and we went there maybe 2018, I think, and we did Venice and Florence,
Mhm.
and it was in February. It was so cold, but there were no crowds, and
Oh,
we got into everything we needed to get
that's
into,
amazing.
and I got to take a cooking class in Florence, where they just kept filling up your wine glass the
Oh my
entire
god. I
cooking
can't
class
imagine.
at 10 in the morning. I was like, I could live
Oh,
here.
yeah, that's my dream. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think Florence definitely was my favorite city in Italy by
It
far.
it's
It's
beautiful,
gorgeous.
to be surrounded by that much art and that much
Mhm.
history,
Yeah,
because the art is not just what was made last week, it's centuries old,
exactly.
and it tells this beautiful story of the region and, of the church and of, the Italian aristocracy and everything. You can read the story of Italy in all of that art, and
Mhm.
it is
Yeah.
gorgeous. So what did you like about Barbados? Because I've never been, so tell me all about it.
Their culture is beautiful. Also, when we were just driving through the neighborhoods, every house is a different color. And
Oh,
I was
yeah.
like, dang, why don't I paint my house
Yeah.
pink? I looked at my dad. I was like, why can't we paint our house pink? And he was like, you know what? You're right. Like, let's use our free will. I was like,
Ex
yeah, because this is gorgeous seeing like blue and pink. And then everyone, their outfits were all colorful and it's just so gorgeous. Also, like the beach and the water, and it's clear water. Imagine
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
yeah.
That
So it was just amazing. The food was great. We did like a walking food tour around the city.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, that I would sign up for that
Yeah.
in a heartbeat. But you bring up a good point because color is the way to communicate vibrancy.
Mhm.
It's the vibrancy of a culture, it's the vibrancy of the food, it's the vibrancy of everything. And it's something that we really have struggled with in West Texas because everything is covered with dust.
Yeah.
And so everything is beige. So when we do, especially public art here, we try to look for artists that inject a lot of color because
Mhm.
we have to create our own. This landscape is just not conducive to color. So we force it on the landscape
Yeah.
and it works out really, really well. Um, so, in a lot of your dance, costume is also very, very
Yes,
important.
it is.
Is there a specific costume that you've worn during a specific piece that you put it on and all of a sudden you feel about a foot taller?
I wouldn't say taller,
Yeah.
but we do have this piece called Phoenix, that we choreographed by Zach Ingram, and we did it this season in April, and we're all superheroes. So we're all in
What?
bright colored unitards, and I was in like the bright pink one, and I put it on. I was like, oh yeah, this is it.
You did a whole thing on superheroes?
Yeah,
It's not on the
we're
list.
not doing it
You're not.
here, unfortunately. No.
Well, I'm about to have a very strong word with Nicole.
Yeah.
We're gonna change up the entire
I mean,
program.
we can do it.
All right, Nicole, we're gonna have to do
Yeah,
that because I am a comic book nerd, and that would have just like I would have been sitting in the front row crying the whole
yeah.
time.
It's a really good piece.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the end of the season too, so I
I
can't just
know.
drive up to Dallas and catch another performance. We're gonna have to fix this.
We'll bring it back next season just for
Next
you.
season, you're gonna have to bring it back. That is gonna be on the program for next year's
Yeah,
performance for sure. And I'll even take, lessons or something and just traipse across the
there you
stage
go.
just so that I can be
Yeah,
in a superhero
exactly.
outfit. Yes. What do you like about okay, gonna stop there for a second and go back, and I'm gonna rephrase that question. So you dance and you also do choreography.
Mhm.
What are the things about each that stand out? And if you had a preference, which would be your preference?
I mean, dancing, I wanna dance for as long as possible. That is my true love, but I also teach a lot. I teach at a lot of different studios in Dallas,
Hmm.
and choreographing on kids hard,
Yeah,
but I really have started to
yeah.
enjoy teaching and sharing my love with kids.
Hmm.
It's really different choreographing on professionals versus kids as well because I know all my friends can do the cool things.
Right,
But teaching kids, I'm like, okay, this is what I want to get out of this, but having to break it down and like I'm actually learning a lot because I'm like, okay, how am I doing this step and how do I break it down for someone who does not have the same vocabulary that I do?
right.
So it's an interesting process and it really makes me think.
Hmm.
But I think it's just like also using a different part of my brain, which I also like.
Well, and also with kids, there's a level of enthusiasm
Yeah.
and bravery
Mhm.
in kids because they'll just do anything,
Yeah.
right? And they're so happy to be there, and you catch them at a time when they do believe that anything is possible. And if you can continue to nurture that through the terrible teens,
Yeah.
that they continue to have that optimism in life, that's a wonderful thing, and
Mhm.
to teach them to do that with their bodies,
Yeah.
because man, when you become a teenager, everybody hates their body,
Yeah.
right? And I think being able to use dance to give them that confidence is
Yeah.
amazing.
I think also in 2025 in dance, we have such a different emphasis on body positivity,
Yeah.
which I've gone through my fair share of body struggles. And so now that I'm a teacher, I really focus heavily on everybody is beautiful and everybody is made for dance. If you can walk, you can dance. If you can breathe, you can dance. If you have a heartbeat, you can dance because you can find a beat.
Hmm.
So I think it's really important to instill that kind of lesson in kids instead of beating them down just how, it used to be. But we're
Yeah,
trying to move away from that narrative. And
right.
everyone is beautiful and everyone can dance and everyone can do everything if you work hard.
That's right. That's right. Anything is possible, and that's a wonderful thing to take away from a dance class.
Hmm.
You know, so that's wonderful. What's a project that you haven't done, or a place that you haven't performed that you really want to? What in Sydney's land of unicorns and rainbows, and you can do anything you want. What is it that you want to do?
Okay, I have 2 stages in America that I really wanna perform on. The first one is the stage at Jacob's Pillow, and then the second one is at the Joyce Theater in New York City. Those are my 2 gotta I'll know I've made it once I performed there. Other than that, obviously, I wanna be in the main company at Dallas Black, so that's
Sure.
my next goal. Um, but yeah, I wanna perform everywhere. I wanna bring my art to as many people as possible. So
Oh, that's a wonderful thing to have as a goal, because you're about to, uh, bring your art to a whole new group of people tonight.
mhm.
Some of them saw you last year. Many of them will see you for the first time. Um, that's one of the beautiful things about performing in places like this, and being able to bring Encore here is to bring your dance to a whole new group and to
Mhm.
expose our community to something that they may never have seen anywhere else.
Yeah.
And so we just appreciate that so much. Uh, Sydney, I want to thank you so much for being here tonight. This was amazing. I can't wait to see you perform again. You were magnificent last year. You're going to be even better this year. Thank you for sharing your talent with our community.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that wraps it up for tonight. Join us again when we will be continuing our focus on Dallas Black Dance Theater Encore next week. Until then, everyone have a good night.